off of
Right,
us because we did
right.
move in before like they really started flipping.
You didn't come and buy a condo in a brand new development. You know what I mean? That
Yep.
only you and everyone in that development can afford. You know what I mean? So yeah, I get what you're saying.
Exactly.
Yeah, I remember reading an article like 10 years ago, like about a gay couple that went and bought a brownstone in Bed-Stuy. I was like, when I saw that, I was like, oh, it's starting.
Yeah, that's that exactly.
When the gays move in, yeah.
I don't think gay people are. Not that they're gay.
Sorry for the disclaimer
matters.
for those who don't know me. I am openly gay, and not that means it's okay for me to make a generalization like that, but to me, like just for me,
I get the joke, Sam.
I get, yeah, we get it, Sam.
I know, but for those viewers watching who may not,
well,
otherwise, but thank you. Oh well, yeah, I know. All right, now, yeah, making that joke incognito. No, here I am.
But yeah, you're right. Like we're not people who sat and bought a condo like in a place in a huge building where the only other people there were people of means. Like I'm sitting through my ceiling falling down right now. But like,
right.
Oh, it's been going on. It's partially my own fault. They want to come in and fix it, but my apartment's too big of a mess for them to get to it.
It's interesting because about 2 years ago, I got into a heated argument with some people on Facebook, and these people, man, all of a sudden when you're on Facebook, like people's credentials just come out the woodworks because you're on Facebook, you know, and it's like they're the wrong credentials too. Like I'm arguing with people who I'm in finance and I'm an accountant, and I'm like, okay, listen, if I walk into a hospital and you're an orthopedic surgeon, I don't care that you're an orthopedic surgeon if I have diabetes. Like, I just don't care. Like, so what? You're an orthopedic surgeon. I have diabetes. You're not the person I need to be talking to.
Orthopedic surgeons deal with feet?
They deal with bones.
Bones, okay.
So, but it's kind
of
if you
break a bone or something, you know what I mean?
It's kind of along the lines of you don't give a rat's ass, like, walking into a hospital if they're a gynecologist, because you sure as hell don't need a gynecologist.
Right. So I'm arguing with these people who decided to show up to this argument. Mind you, I don't say these things. Like I'm married to someone who's in high finance, but it doesn't apply to this argument, right? So there are these two houses in the hood. Mike, you know this street, William Street. You know William Street in the hood downtown, right? These two houses. They got developed by these developers, and they came in, they rebuilt these houses on William Street. Now for Sam and for Emily, William is the hood. As in, if you go to McDonald's on William and Jefferson, you're going to pay more money there than anywhere else in Western New York because their insurance is so high because they get robbed all the time. They have like bulletproof glass on the drive-through. They get robbed all the time, so they're the highest prices around.
It's like the deli, Sam, where we used to live that had the Lazy Susan, like where they would keep the doors locked at night, and you'd have to go up and order things, and they'd push it out to you in a Lazy Susan.
So these developers developed these two houses, and when they put them back on the market, they wanted $98K for the one house and $106,000 for the other. Now, mind you, we're talking you can buy a house on William anywhere from 40 to 60K, right? So nobody in this community could afford these houses, and you know, these people, black people in finance, they're like, yeah, that's the way to go. This is how you improve the community. And I'm like, what? First of all, I live in Kenmore. I paid $85,000 for my house in 2013. Its Zillow values at 180 right now. But I live in a suburb, a really good 5 mile square suburb. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. There's no way that a house in the hood should be $97,000, and I just bought a house in Kenmore.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
For $12,000 less. So I'm arguing with them. I'm like, wait a minute. You could tell me you're finance this and finance that.
If this whole virtual work thing continues for a while, I may as well just move up there and save money.
Listen, I'm trying. One of the things that is known about Buffalo is that our property values. You can buy and this is like a well-known thing, like $1 million house anywhere else in the country is a $500,000 house here. We get really good value for, like, really. In Buffalo, it's West New York, you get really good property. That's why rich people come and buy houses in Orchard Park and live in Florida.
Well, it's the same
You
way
understand
in
what I'm
Central
saying?
too.
Yeah, and they rent them out.
Yeah, and they rent them because you get really good value for your money.
It's the same way in Central New York though too. Like, I always have the joke that the house that I grew up in, if you like picked it up with a helicopter and just dropped it down in the middle of Westchester, it would like cost 10 times as much.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I told these people, I'm like, listen, I live in the suburbs, right? I live in an area where you pay for your zip code. You understand it. Y'all live in New York, so you pay for zip codes, right? Like, the better zip code, the more you're gonna pay. You understand what I'm saying? Well, for us, it doesn't translate into what we pay for the property. It's what we pay in taxes. I pay a lot in taxes. Like, I don't pay in New York City, but I pay a lot in taxes every year.
Property taxes, school taxes.
Yeah, we pay a lot. I pay, because my where I live is in the town of Kenmore. Excuse me, it's in the village of Kenmore, town of Tonawanda. I have to pay two different school taxes because I'm in a town and a village. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like I gotta pay. But anyway, so I'm arguing with you. I'm like, listen, they're like, this is how you improve a community. I'm like, no, how you improve a community is you build properties that the people in the community can afford, so that they can have an opportunity to own. Because people who own things take more pride than people who rent things in these communities. Like, why do I care when the community sucks? But if everyone on our block has an opportunity to own, we are going to look at our block differently because we own these properties.
Yes.
And that's improving quality of life without having to deal with the broken windows, police and crap.
People just don't care. Yes, you're absolutely right. People don't care as much if they're renting it, because it's like, whatever, someone else owns it and they'll have to clean it up when I leave. And if it's to take my security deposit, it sucks, but whatever. I don't have to,
My landlord's a slumlord. He never wants to fix anything. Da 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 da.
Right. I've been lucky. Thankfully. I'm grateful that way, but I'm grateful for that. But
it's different renting in New York City.
Yeah,
like,
it is
that's
different.
The thing to do there. You know what I mean?
It is different. Yes, it is different renting in New York City. Yeah, honestly, it is different renting in New York City. And that's the thing that sucks. Because right now, and it frustrates me because I do want to own my own place. But I think I probably said this before. So the average one bedroom, right now, the average one bedroom apartment in like all of Manhattan is like $750 to buy, right? Okay. In
$750K?
Yeah.
For a one bedroom apartment to buy?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, you could buy like 20 houses here, man.
I know. The average cost of a one bedroom in my neighborhood where I live in Manhattan is $450. So that's noticeably less than the average for the whole city. Nevertheless, I calculated the value, and if I were to buy one in my neighborhood, my monthly expenses would go up by over $1,000. So it's just, there's no point.
But you could buy a mansion in Orchard Park.
No, I know. And it's actually interesting. A friend of mine actually just moved up to, it's funny. A friend of mine just moved up to Riverdale. And I found out that like the one bedrooms up there are like 200. So
is he hanging out with like Archie and Jughead?
Yeah, exactly.
See, now
and then I went just for fun. I hopped on Street Easy to check out what the apartments are, but it's Riverdale, and so immediately I got sidetracked by all the ginormous houses that are out there, and I was like, oh my god! But those are like millions of dollars that you have to pay for that. So
Sam, I'm serious right now, and I don't want to get in your business, but seriously, like, why don't you consider buying a house in Western New York
and renting it out?
Yeah, like if you're really looking at spending like $450K, dude, you could spend $100K.
I'm not.
And buy a nice house.
I'm not.
I just rent it out.
I can't do that. But the thing, but I can't do that, but that is something to think about. I always wanted to own my own place and live in it, but just to like say like it's mine and I like, you know, I have something to show for that investment. But I also know it's a pain in the ass to have to fix things yourself. But that's the other thing.
Trust me, my mother learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
I mean, you could always boot the people out when you're ready to retire. Like, you know what, you got to go.
But it is a really good point though. Like just to like look at properties like in places that are really cheap and like, but I would have to, but to buy that, and it would be a really good investment, and to rent it out to make some money. But I would have to, there's all sorts of things that I have to do. Have money put away in escrow, and I would have to have, someone come in and look the assessment of the property. I would have to hire like a manager and a super to make sure that,
well, here's the thing, and it's going to suck that I say this as a Black
You need a
person who
super
comes
for
from
a
certain
house?
communities. You want to buy in the suburbs and you want to rent to, when you buy in the suburbs, you're getting a different, and when I don't want to say different class of people, because that's not true. Meaning I came from the projects, right? And I bought a house in the suburbs, and I don't treat my house like, the projects. You understand what I'm saying? I treat my house like everyone else who lives out here in a nice neighborhood. And I think that's the same way for anyone coming from anywhere that has an opportunity to purchase, something a better quality of life.
Yeah, you want to rent it to people who you believe are going to take good care of the place.
But even like people, like I have to interject here, like even people I know who live in the projects still currently, they get frustrated with the fact that like other people don't upkeep their apartments, and then they get roaches and shit.
Yeah, yes, it depends because it's like anything else. People are people. Some people, however much money you have, it's not indicative of the kind of person you are. It just indicates like how much money you make. So there are some people, in the like who will take good care of their apartments, and then there'll be other people who will just like let it go to waste because it's public housing and they don't care.
Well, here's the thing about living in those areas too. Like, I mean, there are places where if you keep your house a certain kind of way, you're just not going to get roaches because there aren't roaches in the area.
Well, in the projects, it doesn't work that way, though.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
Can I finish my sentence? So that's my point. Is like, but then there are areas where like you can do a pretty good job, but it's still going to be really difficult not to have them. So then you got to be like, you got to keep your shit like pristine, and then make sure that you're letting the exterminators in, on a regular basis. So
yeah.
So like the projects that I grew up in, and it's interesting because Mike, you make a good point. So the projects that I grew up in, right, they're like milk cartons, right? They're not like New York projects where there's several floors and elevators. They're literally like, there's like, you've seen them, you had to see them before in Buffalo.
They're like row houses.
So they're like long houses. So there's like 4 apartments in each building, and then they're all in rows, and they're, each apartment has an upstairs, a downstairs, a basement. So my mother, I grew up in them, my wife grew up in them, right? And my mother-in-law, my wife, she had 7 kids. My mother-in-law had 7 kids. My mother-in-law's house was pristine. Always was pristine. Even now, she just bought a house this year in Kenmore, street over from mine. But her house was always had the best yard, always flower bouquet the whole 9. But the people who, great friends of mine still to this day, because we all grew up together, who lived next door to her, the Porters, they had roaches. So there with my wife, my wife didn't have roaches in their house, but their apartments were connected. So they would get roaches because the next door neighbors had roaches. And it's interesting because here's an interesting story. Like I grew up in the projects, right? When I lived with my aunt and my grandfather both lived in the projects, right? My grandfather came from Tupelo, Mississippi. And when we're talking about, upkeep, and how Emily was saying how certain people, I grew up, I was probably the only kid that I know in Buffalo. I grew up in the projects with, like, I didn't have a front yard and a backyard, and my grandfather did. I lived with my aunt. My grandfather didn't have a front yard and a backyard. We had rows of cabbage, rows of collard greens, peas, string beans, carrots, tomatoes, and in the front, on the side, we had strawberries, and we had like a farm in the front yard, the backyard, and then like a couple houses down the street at my grandfather's, because my grandfather he came from Tupelo, and this was like our family trade. Like we tilled soil. So he came, First thing he did was planted a cotton tree right in his front yard, and then he dug up all the grass at his house and at my aunt's house and planted crop. And I had crop probably till I left for the military. To the point when I started renting on Riverside, I don't know if you ever came to my house in Riverside, Mike, but my front yard, I had produce in it.
Oh no, I don't think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I had collard greens, I had cabbage, I had green peppers, I had green tomatoes. Like because that's just, I don't have it here because I live in the suburbs and there's 1,000 rabbits out here.
Yeah.
Like if I walk outside right now, I'll see 50 rabbits before I hit the corner.
Better not be planting carrots.
I don't plant anything. Well, I used to plant corn, but the squirrels, you never get your corn in New York State. The squirrels,
that's kind of
get
true.
It. Yeah, the squirrels will get your corn.
That's kind of true. I've been a witness to that many times.
Yeah, they like it when it's really small, so you never even see it grow. You know what I mean? Like it just they come get it. But yeah, I had produce the whole nine. But no, Mike, you're right. It is I remember my mother-in-law her house had to be extra pristine because the next door neighbors had roaches.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you too, like there have been times like with us, even like in our building, where we've gone on vacation on the day that like the exterminator comes, like one specific Saturday a month.
Yeah.
And we've been on vacation on that day. So the exterminator has been in everybody's apartment but ours. And then we come back and all the roaches
went to your house
to us because we weren't there for the exterminator.
So yeah, I hate to say it, but like looking back, Andy had his cat, and like I don't know, we were coming from Buffalo, we didn't really know what the cat. Deal was.
I know the cat killed the roaches.
No, unfortunately not. He wasn't too good for killing roaches, and but long story short, like we were kind of naive, and we worked for an environmental organizations, and we were like, pesticides, like we're not letting people spray pesticides in here. We got a cat, and we were like, no, we're good. And that was a horrible mistake because we were in, you saw that building we were in Flatbush. That was like
we got a cat, we're good.
We were.
I don't think I ever saw the flap.
I think I was there.
We were in.
Well,
it was similar to the place in Harlem, but
I
anyways,
saw the place when you lived up here.
Except not as nice, and it had lots of roaches, and we were on floor 4, so we were in 4G.
I remember that place actually.
So, yeah. Long story short, we should have said yes.
No, make the story long. Tell the story.
Yeah, I mean, well, we never thought about the fact that everybody else is saying yes. What do you think the roaches are going to run to?
And roaches form armies, man. Maybe armies of roaches too.
They were singing songs like "Run to the Rock." We're gonna run to the rock. So yeah, man, it was like we couldn't keep that place. I mean, you had to it had to be super dry. Like you couldn't leave a drop of water in the sink. It had to be super pristine. It's just ridiculous. So long story short, let those pesticides fly.
I thought you were going to say...
He was like, pesticides? What do you mean pesticides? We got a cat.
I thought you were going to... Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I thought you were going to say... Because I have had people say that they're convinced their cat eats their roaches. And I'm like, we can't have a cat.
This would have been a fat-ass roach. I mean, this would have been a fat-ass cat if he was eating the roaches.
Cats lose that fight. It reminds me of Creep Show. Y'all remember Creep Show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The roach segment.
Oh.
Remember that one? By the end, like 6 inches of his apartment floor was covered with roaches. They were coming out of his mouth and out of his chest.
Honestly, roaches don't even gross me out that much anymore. But that, not as much as they used to. But that, I remember that was real. That was really that was a little much to deal with.
Like it was like 6 inches of the floor was just roaches.
That's a lot. That's a lot to deal with. Yeah.
They came up out of dude's chest, out of his mouth, like. You never saw that, Emily?
No, like that too. And I don't think I want to.
Oh, the dude had roaches in his apartment, and it was a creep show. So it was Stephen King, and it was like it was called Creep Show. So it was just like an hour and a half of like maybe 15-minute just mini movies, little mini horror movies, like 15 minutes each. And one of them was just this old guy. He had this apartment. No, because Will was still parked there. So he had this. I will. He had roaches in his apartment. He'd kill them, and he'd pour a box of cereal, and roaches would crawl out. And he'd just kill these roaches. And then as it progressed, you just see him killing more and more roaches casually. And then by the time it ended, he's like laying down in his apartment, and you think he's asleep, but his body's like moving. And then the camera pans down, and literally 6 inches, I mean the entire apartment, 6 inches off the floor was just a layer of roaches. And like you couldn't even see the floor anymore. And then like you see his chest move, and they just rip one crawls out of his mouth. And then they just like rip out of his chest, and that's when you realize he's dead. And like the roaches have like got all up in his body and all of that. Like, yo.
That is not the type of 6 inches that I would be interested in.
Well, if it's only 6 inches, you have pretty low inch. Never mind.
I was kidding. I was kidding.
I'm kidding too.
Never mind. No comment.
So anyway, yes, that was the roach on the Creep Show thing. You should go back and watch that. I'm sorry, Sam. The thing that disturbed me about Creep Show was the black goo.
You know, it's been so long since I've seen Creep Show. I don't really remember it that well.
They were at the beach, and they got on a pallet and decided to float out into the middle of the lake.
I may have to rewatch it to know what you're talking about, though. Something I suspect I may not want to, but I
that bothered me.
Yeah, I mean, and I do like scary films, but and those are an acquired taste. But
I feel like I might rewatch Cat's Eye.
I loved Cat's Eye.
Oh yeah, that was another Stephen King movie, right? Cat's Eye.
Yeah.
I don't think Natasha Kinski ever looked so good as when she
wasn't
was
she in
Cat's Eye.
Cat People? Wasn't that Cat People?
Oh, that's Cat People. Cat's Eye was the Stephen King
Wait a minute,
anthology. That's right.
Wait, Cat People was the one.
Don't mix up your cats, people.
Cat People was the one in the beginning. It just looks like a love story, just like a 50s love story, and then all of a sudden, in the middle of the movie, you realize they're cats. Oh, I gotta rewatch that one.
Yeah, but they weren't like kitty cats. They were like Black Panthers.
Yeah, and it gets really gory, and No,
and it really cool. Incesty.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
they were like brother and sister.
Mm-hmm. And that was a remake of the original was in the 1940s. Yeah. And that was
that's why it had that whole 40s feel to it.
Yes, it was. The original was from the 1940s. It was in black and white, and it was super low budget. It was so low budget that like there was no. When they transformed into cats, like you didn't even see it. It was like the camera turned away, and like all the murders were like done by like via shadow pantomiming.
Wait, was it just called Cats? Wasn't it just called Cats?
People. It was called Cat People.
Oh, it was called Cat. The one with the 80s one or early
both
90s
of them.
Or
it was called Cat. It was called Cat People. There was a movie called Cat's Eye though, and that was a Stephen King movie.
Oh yeah.
It was another Creep Show type anthology.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and also, do you remember? What was it? Tales from the Dark Side? Was that? Wait, what's the one where
Tales from the Hood?
The Twilight Zone? Is that the one where with John Lithgow?
Yes.
That's the Twilight Zone, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
the Twilight Zone, where they basically took 4 of like the classic episodes from the TV series and remade them for the movie. Yeah. Yeah, John Lithgow had the best segment because he had the Nightmare at 20,000 Feet thing with like they redid the William Shatner episode and with John Lithgow. Yeah, it was great.
With the gremlin?
Yes, with the gremlin hanging on the wing of the plane. Yeah.
See, I thought the best one was God Boy.
That was great. That was great.
Oh, I liked that one too. Right, where he took the person he took
his sister's mouth
away. Yes.
Oh, he took her mouth away. Like, yo. That was so great. That bothered me for a long time.
Yeah,
So
man.
like, what if there are really people like that? What if they take my mouth away? Like,
Yeah.
I think the scariest thing about that movie is if you watch it and you're a little bit older than when you were younger, you can really say to yourself, like, how would you act if you had that kind of power?
Generally,
How
I'm
would you
usually a
act if
little
you were
older than I
that
was when I was
young?
younger.
Yeah, if you were that young, especially even when you were a little bit older, like, how would I have acted? Like, you know,
Oh no, kids should never have powers like that. They're dicks. They'll just
dude, they were all
but
afraid of
even
him.
like young adults too, like just imagine
Especially
living in New York
teenagers.
City with that power and just like navigating your office space or navigating like
Militaries would be trying to
drivers or
murder you for all of the egregious things that you've done that you didn't think were egregious.
yeah.
They'd be coming for you.
Teenagers cannot be trusted.
There'd be military protocol against you.
Yeah. Yeah,
There's no
like
reasoning with
kids,
you.
like even nice little, like even like and even like nice children, like good kids. Like there's plenty of kids that are like well behaved and polite and like are really sweet. When they get mad, like
Right.
when they get really upset, like
you just caused an earthquake in California and it's no
'cause
longer on the map.
they'll react and they'll do stuff because they don't think about like the repercussions it'll have on the other person. They can only think about how hurt they are.
Hey, forget the teenagers. I have that problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rod Serling is one of my idols.
Mm-hmm.
Twilight Zone is probably my all-time favorite television series.
It was a great show. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was an amazing show.
I haven't seen the new Jordan Peele.
I haven't either.
Twilight Zone yet.
Apparently, there was an episode about a toddler president, and I'm like, are we sure this isn't a documentary?
Yeah. No, I did. Yeah, right. I did. Yeah, no, Rod Serling was great. A lot of his, well, it's interesting. A lot of his, to this day, a lot of those episodes I find really creepy, like in a very like intellectual way, like very just like kind of like spooky, like what if, except for Talkie Tina. That still scares the crap out of me.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that one's like, no. Like when that thing is like telling you it's gonna kill you, like why are you not burning it? Like get rid of it.
The one that bothers me is the one with where the lady wakes up and she realizes that like she's not normal, even though she is normal to us. She just kind of wakes up in this world where everyone's face is like this really long-nosed. Like,
is it Eye of the Beholder, where it's like they're all trying to operate on her because they think she's horribly
ugly,
disfigured, right?
Yeah.
Then they take the bandage off, and it turns out she's like gorgeous. And then like you see the faces of the doctors, and they all have like pig faces. Like
that
Yep.
That one. That one bothers me. I'm like, man.
And right, it is. No, it's really disturbing. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and it's just and then at the end, she gets paired off with this like really hunky guy, and the two of them were cast off together to like live in this like a space they're setting aside for like the dejects and everything like that, like the people, like the lepers. Like it's really it's messed up.
Yeah, there's a couple. My favorite one though is just the one where they do the comedy at the end where the guy's the last guy on Earth, and he's got his books and he breaks his glasses.
Burgess, yes. Burgess.
He's like, there was time now.
Yes, the Burgess Meredith.
There was time.
Right. Yep. Oh my God. Yeah. Because all he wants to do is read, and he breaks his glasses. Yeah. Oh my God, it's so sad.
He's like, there was time now.
Yep.
Like you can't find another pair of glasses in this whole world. I do.
Well, when the whole world is buried under rubble, like good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's really
Wait, does he shatter them or he just breaks them? He can't just hold them like this.
No, they fall off his head and they fall on the ground and they break.
Yeah, they crack. Like they're like unwearable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's got his books and everything. He's just resigned that he's the last person alive, and all he wants is the books anyway. You know what I mean? And he's got his books, and he's getting situated, and his glasses break, and he's like,
"Yeah,
there is time now."
I know, so sad.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
He reminds me of the guy from Office Space. Now that I think about it, the guy I could burn down the building. The
Oh,
red stapler
Milton.
guy.
They took my stapler. They took my stapler.
They took
I
my
asked them
stapler
for my
and
stapler. They never took it back. They never
made
give
me
it back.
switch to the busted stapler, but I prefer the swingline stapler.
I could burn down the building. Like, yo.
Yeah, and then he does.
It's like I could burn down and he gets rich.
Yes, and good for him too, because really, after being so mistreated like that, oh man.
Well,
I'm gonna need you to move down to the basement.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Oh
well,
God.
and Mr. Lumberg told me to talk to payroll, and the payroll told me to talk to Mr. Lumberg.
Yes.
I could just burn the place down.
I hereby sentence you to 5 years in a federal pound me in the ass prison.
Mike, have you ever seen Office Space, man?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Of course.
That opening scene is so great where my man's driving into work banging Wu-Tang. Like, yo,
What's
he's
wrong?
just like this yuppie. I can't remember the song, but he's like this yuppie.
Damn, it feels good to be a gangster.
Is that what
that's what it was?
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, Scarface.
Yes. Or was it more specifically Ghetto Boys?
Yeah, I think yeah.
Meanwhile, Flavy found his new favorite cereal, Wu-Tang brand.
Do they have?
Or it's everyone's new favorite cereal. Actually, the Wu-Tang brand with the please tell me.
Does Wu-Tang have a cereal?
No, but somebody posted on Facebook, and I think I shared it in the group chat.
Yeah.
Well, that Wu-Tang brand ain't nothing to fuck with. It'll get you regular.
Yes.
I might try it.
Is it real?
No.
No. I posted it in the group chat like a couple of days ago, I think. Hold on, where is this? Let me go back and look at this. Let me see if I can find it and put it in the chat. Oh, here it is. Oh, it's not. Hang on, it's Wu-Tang brand, I think. Hold on. Let me put it in the chat. It should be. Let me just make sure that it's in my city. Yeah. Okay. All right. Hang on. Where? Okay. How do I do this? Can I even add a photo?
What we're doing here?
In the chat room.
box.
Oh, I don't know how to do it, but there's a way. You can probably share screen.
Yeah, I don't know.
Share the screen? I don't even know how to do that.
Oh, you're on your phone?
Share screen. I see. Share screen, photos. Hang on. Yeah. Allow. Yeah. Settings. Zoom. Photo.
So they're calling this generation the lost generation.
The Zoom generation.
The lost generation.
Yeah. Well,
I just read an article that says Star Wars: How Boba Fett Became a Lost Generation Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Well, if you ask me, the children are certainly lost.
Wait, no, sorry. Say that again, Ish.
It says Star Wars: How Boba Fett Became a Lost Generation's Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Okay. Well, they said Star Wars though. Star Wars is. I mean, that could be from when did Boba Fett first? I mean,
no, they're talking about the Mandalorian.
Oh, okay.
Now there's two Sams.
Oh my God! How did that happen?
I don't know. You cloned yourself for a minute.
Okay. That would
make him Boba Fett.
That's what I was talking about. That cereal.
Wu-Tang is for the children.
Oh yeah. Wait, that was too fast. I wasn't paying attention.
All right. Hold on. Okay.
Get Hayden Christensen back.
There's no picture.
There isn't?
I see the picture.
No. The hell? How come she gets to see the picture? Do you see a picture, Ish?
I don't.
No, I don't see a picture. Oh, now I see a picture. Wu-Tang brand. Yeah, it's Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang brand.
Isn't that the ODB on the box?
Yeah.
Cereal rules everything around me. Cream.
I was saying
So
they should
anyway.
add some cashews in there.
Yeah, add some cashews.
Yeah, cashews. Everything around
Cashews
me.
rule everything around me.
Yeah.
Mm.
Cashews.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's okay. But that's
I would eat that.
Yep. So what about Star Wars?
Oh, they were just comparing Boba Fett to Obi-Wan Kenobi for this generation.
Who is comparing? Wait, how are?
Who's this they?
What's the comparison?
Well, have you been watching The Mandalorian?
Oh no.
Okay, well, that's where it comes from.
Okay.
He's kind of in like an Obi-Wan role. Well, they're imagining him in an Obi-Wan role.
Who's imagining who in an Obi-Wan role?
Well, it's an article, so I would imagine like critics or pundits. It says, I'll read it. It says Star Wars, how Boba Fett became a lost generation's Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's the headline for the article.
That sounds a little bleak.
Well, it's based on like the Mandalorian television series where Boba Fett has returned. And he's like,
okay.
And as it stands, because the Mandalorian is the main character and he's the hero character, Boba Fett is kind of helping him.
Mm-hmm.
And so the comparisons are like Boba Fett has graduated to this Obi-Wan role.
Yes.
Because
okay.
For the context of the series, like Boba Fett isn't a bad guy in the Mandalorian series. Like he's old.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Like he's and obviously the Mandalorian isn't a bad guy. He's the hero character. So that's the comparison.
Interesting. Okay. Oh, that's very interesting.
I just will say that Boba Fett is dope.
In the Mandalorian?
Yeah, he's better. He's better now than he was when he was in the Star Wars trilogy.
Well, I mean, in the Star Wars trilogy, he was barely. He looked cool, but he barely had anything to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, he's only been in 2 episodes of this season, and he's done more in at least one of them than he did in the entire Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah.
So, I knew how dope he was because I've read canon stuff like comics and books about Boba, so I really knew how dope he was. But this really you really get to see on TV how dope he is. You know what I mean? Like he's really that dude. If they'd have had him be what he was in the Star Wars trilogy, man, the Rebels might not have won. Like, yo, I'm just saying.
There you go.
I see why Darth Vader had so much respect for him.
There you go. Wow. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, if you ever get an opportunity, you should check out The Mandalorian, man.
It's fucking dope. It's better than most of the Star Wars stuff that came out. I mean, when I say most, like definitely better than the second 3, that came out, and then and then we'll leave the rest up for debate.
What Jonathan Favreau is doing is not even original, right? Like he didn't reinvent the wheel. He literally took the spaghetti Western formula, and did it modern day, and the premise is Lone Wolf and Cub. It's like his interpretation of Lone Wolf and Cub. You know Lone Wolf and Cub, right?
Yes. Yes, I do.
It's literally his interpretation of Lone Wolf and Cub in a modern day spaghetti Western. And it's just great. And it works because like this generation, like, are they used to really that spaghetti Western formula? You know what I mean? And I mean, down to like the music and how, the outro to the show, like it's all literally spaghetti Western. And it's great. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a modern day take. You can tell Jonathan Favreau just really has an appreciation for some of the old, film and television offerings. You can just kind of see it. You know what I mean? Because he didn't like, it's really not original. It's just great. It's really great story, and how he does it. And one of the things that I commend, which is why I was telling Emily and Flavius earlier, that this new episode is only 38 minutes. What he does is, unlike most television shows that are forced to give you, 56 or 50 minutes, and they, you know what I'm saying, and 13 episodes or what have you, he just tells the story. So if the story's 38 minutes for one episode, it's 38 minutes. If it's 47 minutes for an episode, it's 47 minutes. You know what I mean? He's not, there's no filler. It's just, here's the story. And this story was only 38 minutes this week. You know what I mean? Last week it was 47 minutes. The week before, you know what I'm saying? It's I think there's only been one episode that was even close to an hour.
As long as he feels that it needs to be that week.
Yep, to tell the story.
That's very clever. I like that.
Yeah. Yep. And it's good. It works. It works. It makes you want more. You're not watered down, or you know what I mean? There's no lulls. There's no wasted moments.
That's interesting. I'm not. This summer I ranked the movies in my order of preference, just because I love doing that stuff. But as you know, but I'm not.
I'll have to check that out. That ranking.
Yeah, I'm waiting for your next offering, by the way. But anyway, go on. I'm sorry.
That's a good point. I'm working. That's a good point. My friend helped me out with visually designing the blog, so I will get that up soon too. But I will, on May 4th of this year, I ranked like my the Star Wars movies in order of preference. But generally speaking, aside from that, I'm not the hugest Star Wars fan. I haven't gotten involved like so much in a lot of the side stories. But I will check this out because a lot of people I know are saying this is great.
I heard Lando's getting a show. Did you hear about that, Ish?
Lando's getting a show?
Yeah. What happened to Ish?
Anybody home?
He's so excited he can't speak.
He dropped out.
He's so excited he just couldn't hide it.
Yeah.
Oh, Pointer Sisters reference. Yep.
Yeah, but the Mandalorian's great. It's definitely on another level. They've they just got it right. They just took like a really exciting character and ran with it. They've got some great cameos.
Really?
Yeah, and what's his guy? The guy that's like the bad guy, like the big bad guy, is the guy from Breaking Bad.
Bryan Cranston?
No, Gus Fry.
Oh, Giancarlo Esposito.
Yes.
Nice. He's a good actor. He's a fine actor. He
is.
Like a long time, yeah.
Oh yeah. He brings something great to the big bad. Heavy on this show.
Yeah. Oh my God. Breaking Bad was such a sick show too.
Yeah.
Another one of Misha's binge watching shows.
Maybe Ish left to go check out my Star Wars movie ranking. You know what I'll do? Actually, I'll go through my old. I'll go share it in the group chat for people.
You know what's weird is I had totally forgotten that Jet Li was in one of the Star Wars movies.
Yo, I'm sorry, Sam. I want y'all to finish. I don't want to just jump in, but I definitely wanted to hear what Sam was going to say about his preference for shows this year.
Oh no, that's okay. I don't think we left. Wait, no. What?
I got my phone died. I'm sorry.
The last thing you missed was I just had jumped in and said that Lando. There's a Lando show coming out.
Yep.
Cool.
There's a bunch of Star Wars shows coming out. Ahsoka Tano.
Oh wow. I was just saying I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. Only because I haven't gotten involved in a lot of the side shows. Like I'm not that invested in it because as cool as it is, like I felt like it's gone on so long that I feel like after a while, I feel like they just kind of like
It's kind of true.
My investment in it became less and less because I feel like they were just milking more and more out of it. But
it's the law of diminishing returns.
Right. But nevertheless, I did rank the movies, and I will go back to that post. I'll pull it up and I'll put it in the I'll drop it in the chat if you're interested.
You ranked the Star Wars movies?
I did on May 4th.
Oh wow, I've ranked them before as well, but I think that's it. I'm curious to know how you rank them.
Well, I'll drop it in the it's probably I mean, no one had anything bad to say about it except my brother, but he didn't he didn't drop any negative comments on Facebook, thankfully. But yeah, no, I knew it was bound to stir I knew it was bound to like raise a little controversy because it was probably not the order that a lot of people mostly would, but
okay, where is The Empire Strikes Back?
I'm not going to tell you.
Okay.
I have The Empire Strikes Back at number 1.
Oh.
All right. Well, you're going to have to, I mean, I'll have to drop it in the chat. I'll have to drop it in the group chat.
And then I have Rogue One at number 2.
Wow.
All right.
That's the one with Jet Li, right?
Yeah.
I'll have to rewatch that one because I had forgotten aspects of that.
Is it Jet Li as Ronald McDonald?
No. I'll have to rewatch that one because I'd forgotten.
McDonald?
I'd forgotten about that one.
I definitely like one movie from every trilogy.
Which one had the gambling? Which one were they gambling on another planet?
Han Solo.
I could have swore there was another one before Han Solo where they were gambling on another planet.
Oh, the third trilogy, the first movie.
What was that one called?
The one with Rey, Rise of Skywalker or something. No, that wasn't Rise of Skywalker.
Awakens?
Force Awakens.
I just shared it in our messenger group chat. So
I'm looking at it now.
Oh god.
The one where they're kind of like hinting towards like slate, like it's a flashy. It's almost like
the one with
Dubai.
the Spanish guy is in it.
Oh, maybe. It's almost like Dubai. It's like it's
the
beautiful.
Spanish guy?
It's beautiful and like they're gambling and it's a muddied planet, but then you realize beneath the surface there's like slavery and stuff.
It's the first one.
Oh, okay.
The first one with Rey. So number 11, Attack of the Clones. I'm ruining this list. Phantom Menace, Last Jedi, Force. Oh, see, I gotta criticize this one entry on this list.
I'm sure you do. Everybody, I'm sure you do. I had a few people come at me privately.
He put Rogue One at number 3. Empire Strikes Back at number 1. Yes.
Similar taste. Okay.
And I had Rogue One at number 2. He has it at number 3.
Yeah.
I see you have a New Hope at number 2. New Hope is okay. We're really in the same category here. At number 2.
Yeah.
Me and you are similar because I would put Revenge of the Sith at number 3. You have it at number 4.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was one of the better. I thought it was actually one of the better ones.
I put The Last Jedi next.
Oh God, no.
Well, because I like one of each trilogy. So I liked Revenge of the Sith. I liked Empire. So for me it would be Empire, Rogue One, then Revenge of the Sith, then The Last Jedi. Return of the Jedi is like last for me.
Jeez.
I hate Return of the Jedi.
No, the Ewoks drive me absolutely up the wall.
Yeah, that's what bothers me. The Ewoks.
That bad?
Yeah, I hate Ewoks.
Worse than Jar Jar Binks?
No, not for me.
And then you get to see Luke like become a Jedi.
Yeah, and then you get to see like the biggest threat to the universe get beat by sticks and stones.
Yeah, I was never a fan of the fact that like Darth Vader was like
a Jedi tonight.
Yeah. I was never a fan of the fact that Darth Vader was being bossed around by this like little whimpering old woman. Like I just thought it was very fun. Like
Wait, who's that?
He was like this, like the emperor, that frail old, like, woman in the wheelchair. Like, I was not a fan of her.
Wait, the emperor?
The emperor was a guy.
Yes, I know that, but I always make fun of him. I always make fun of him and call him this like little old lady.
I just didn't like the fact that all the independent contractors died while working on the Death Star when it blew up again.
They weren't independent contractors.
Yeah,
that's a line.
Between
it's a line
that
from
and
Clerks.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't think Return of the Jedi was the worst, but between the Emperor and those damn Ewoks,
it was pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, the Ewoks were just thrown in there because of basically they were like, okay, E.T. was like the most successful movie ever. And
now, I feel you on those Ewoks. I just feel like those movies were so much better than the Next Generation that even the Ewoks couldn't stop them from still being like the top 3.
Well, to each their
Revenge of the
Sith. Own
Sith.
on that. I will also add that E.T. may be my favorite movie ever. So they will always like have the biggest place. Like, I'll love that movie till the day I die. It will always have the biggest place in my heart. So
E.T.'s in Revenge of the Sith, right?
Yes, Yes.
Yeah, see, that wasn't like, that was kind of weird to me. That wasn't like, my thing about Revenge of the Sith is it's just the best of the newer trilogy, which isn't saying much.
Correct.
It's better to Return.
I agree.
Well, obviously you guys agree with that. That's the whole argument. I mean, it's really not, because it still has the fucking emo bullshit, which I'll never forgive the new trilogy for introducing emo Siths.
Oh,
but you get a whole bunch of kids killed by Jedis.
And independent contractors.
There's nothing worse than the emo. Like they went from Darth Vader being one of the most badass bad guys in the history of cinema to fucking emo Siths, and like not even an Ewok can like.
I agree with you, and that's why I hated the first 2 movies, the first 2 prequels so much.
Yeah,
they turned him. And at this point, I just feel compelled to name drop. Good night, Emily.
Good night.
And it's too bad because I was about to mention the Chasing Amy monologue, but you got to go. So
I actually, Chasing Amy is one of my least favorite Kevin Smith movies, but that's another conversation. That's another conversation for another day. I have to go meditate.
All right. Good night, honey.
Night.
Good night.
But yeah, I hated I really despise, like, the first 2 prequels were absolutely my least favorites, but I think that like on the third one, they finally made good on all of it, and especially just to see him go.
I just gotta go to the bathroom real quick.
Okay. And to see him go like crazy at the end of it and kill all those people, just to see how dark it really got. I really felt satisfied, and I feel like the ending achieved a real grandeur, especially with the death of like Natalie Portman's character. I feel like it really finally,
the battle between Obi-Wan and Darth.
Yep. I feel like it finally came around.
They're gonna fight again.
What?
They're gonna fight again.
When?
So the Obi-Wan limited series is coming. Yeah. No. The Obi-Wan limited series is coming to Disney Plus, and Anakin Skywalker just got recast as Darth Vader, and Ewan McGregor is playing Obi-Wan.
Oh, you mean Hayden Christensen?
Yeah, Hayden Christensen just got recast as Anakin.
Oh, wow.
They just announced it yesterday.
Oh, wow.
And it actually takes place 10 years after Revenge of the Sith.
See, this is what I mean, though. They're just going to keep coming up with endless variations on this. And at a certain point, I think I just lost interest.
So for me, while I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan as I was growing up because of what you're saying,
Yeah,
Star
like
Wars
if
and Star Trek is something that I hope never goes away. Like I hope that they can
I
always
hear you.
tell stories
I
in those
hear you. They
in that
both
universe.
yes, I hear you and I hear you. I think they both have merit as stories. And Star Trek like the Star Trek Discovery, like I just freaking love Michelle Yeoh. So I'm so glad that they
She's
like
my favorite character in Star Trek ever, in any Star Trek.
there you go.
Philippa Georgiou. I was just telling Mike this yesterday. She is my favorite, the best character that they've ever created to me, and that's saying a lot because I love Star Trek. In all of Star Trek canon,
That is a really bold statement, my friend.
She's so compelling.
Well, I think I think she's always been a really good actress, and I feel like she's always invested a lot of depth into characters in movies that like didn't really necessitate it. And so I feel like I'm really glad to see that people are like giving her more work, and that she looks great. And I'm glad that she's continuing to get all of this like work.
She's supposed to be getting her own spinoff series.
As she should. She's fantastic. She's like I'm really
black
glad
uniform.
She looks great. She really does. She looks great.
Oh, you didn't know me when she was my Facebook avatar.
Oh, from what? From Crouching Tiger? From Super Cop?
From Discovery.
Oh, from Discovery. Okay, so recently, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think she's. I'm so glad that she continues to get work. And she's just like I've always enjoyed watching her. I thought she's always been very. I thought she's always elevated anything that she was in. So
yeah, she is pretty great.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say the emo Sith is the reason why I don't like. I mean, I did like Force Awakens, but the reason why I put it way down on the list is because of emo Sith.
Adam Driver.
Yeah, man.
Kylo
everything about like two things bother me about Kylo Ren in that movie. One, you find out that he wears the mask for no reason, and two, when he takes it off, he's crying.
Mm-hmm.
Like both of those, it was like what? You don't wear the mask for like there's no reason why you wear this mask. You just wear it because you think it looks cool.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's it.
There are like a bunch of issues that I had with The Force Awakens. Like it was a fan service movie, which fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay. In a way, maybe that was inevitable to reboot, to restart, like to get people excited about it again. But I feel like there was too much lip service to certain political attitudes. Like the fact that it took Luke like several movies to become a Jedi Master, and Rey accomplished it in like less than half. Like it was really, that was just like they wanted like a great you.
Well, I will contend that I don't know that she actually became a master. I will say she did become really adept at as a force user.
But as a force user, it took Luke like 3 movies to get to that point.
Yeah, that I will say.
Right. And not that wasn't a great you go girl moment, but it also I didn't feel like it was earned.
It was just like Force.
Yeah.
Because if you recall, Kylo Ren wasn't even a master.
No, he wasn't. And then The Last Jedi, despite having some awesome sequences, I feel like was just trolling us so hard.
Yeah, but it's interesting. I think the director of that film gets a lot of undue slack. Like I hated how J.J. Abrams in the third movie went and undid everything that he did and that the director did in the second movie. I liked some of the choices that he made in that second movie. It was just, of the 3, it was the most fun. And and again, I will say Force Awakens was fun. It was fan service. It was fun. It was just the emo Siths really, really, really just took a lot away from it. But I felt like that second movie, like some of the it was really throwback in a good way to Empire Strikes Back, with Rey really almost giving in to the dark side, and you understand what I'm saying, and her feeling like she could save Kylo, similar to Luke feeling like he could save Palpatine. I thought those were some good homages that I just kind of liked them. You know what I mean?
Sure. And some of and some of the choices, like like when it's kind of like I understood that in the sense that sometimes the people you idolize or the people you expect to save the day, maybe they're just done, maybe they're exhausted, maybe they're tired, maybe they're not interested in fighting that fight anymore. And I thought that was a really good way of, I thought those really kind of like snarky, cute way to like acknowledge that. But as it went on and on, I was just like, oh my God, they're just really trolling us. And it just felt more and more frustrating to like, it's almost like, so yeah. And the Rise of Skywalker.
They did troll us.
He did. So in the Rise of Skywalker, they undid a lot of that, and they went back in a lot of fan tropes. But by that time, I wasn't as mad. I think that's the reason why I ranked it pretty high, is because I wasn't as upset about it, because I didn't feel like what was happening was I wasn't insulted by it. Like, some of it was repetitive, but like in a franchise like this, like things get repeated a lot. So I wasn't really bothered by. Is that the last one to come out?
Rise of the Jedi.
Rise of Skywalker.
Is that the last one that came out?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
see, that's the one I felt like they went out of their way to troll me. Like,
yeah, a lot of people don't. A lot of people aren't a big. A lot of people don't really like that one that much. But I did.
I tried to rewatch it. I thought maybe I had missed something, and I ended up being bored. That's one thing I never.
Well, they have to go on a quest to go on a quest. Like, that right there bothered me. Like, okay, you got a quest to get a thing so that you can go get a thing, and then on top of which you have Palpatine. And it's like, talk about trolling, right? Like Palpatine, and then she's a Palpatine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But why not? Why not? Do you know what I mean? Again, it's repetitive, but like Skywalker is Darth Vader's father. Is Darth Vader's
you know
son.
why though? Why though? Because why not is not compelling enough. It's kind of like we've used everything else. We used every other cliche in the book, and we've reused all the other material. So why not? You get to be a Palpatine.
I agree with you in principle, but again, this series has a tendency of repeating certain themes. So, it didn't bother me it's just a personal choice then, I guess, because it didn't bother me in the way that The Force Awakens just rushed through certain character arcs, or the way that The Last Jedi just kind of gave the fans like a giant middle finger.
Well, we have this feeling, and I think Mike might share this in a minute, and I don't want to speak for him, but like the thing that Rise of Skywalker did was it totally took seeds that were planted with Finn and just were like, here's a middle finger.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, I almost want to see like a Star Wars levels, I don't want to say parody, but yeah, like a parody. But like one that's done so well, it's almost taken seriously. Like one where right in the beginning of the movie, they make you think, they're going to blow up another Death Star, and they like miss, and it just never gets brought back up again.
They miss,
and then
the Death Star just goes on a rampage.
I mean, no, not even that. It just the Death Star just keeps going, and no one talks about it again until the end of the movie, when they're like, "Wait a minute, weren't we supposed to do something?"
Like, we blew it up every other movie.
Yeah, like, oh man, not another Death Star.
I just felt like there was a real storyline with Finn and Rey that they just discarded. There was an underlying theme that Finn may have been Force sensitive that they just kind of discarded. Like there was just some things that I will say to agree with you. I think that them trying to I think the whole Rose Tycho Finn thing that was done in the second film was stupid, and like they shouldn't have done. And that was done in the Last Jedi. I think was dumb.
Boyega actually complained about the underuse of his character in the movies. He didn't feel that it was right.
Well, yeah, they planted all these seeds that they didn't water and let grow.
Yeah.
Like he was only a part of the Rebel Alliance because he had feelings for Rey.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and as the first like main Black character to really lead a Star Wars that did so well, you know, we kind of thought maybe it was going to be a new thing for Star Wars.
Yep.
Which they did keep doing the diverse thing, which was good. I mean, that was good. I thought they were going to continue with him though.
But I don't know that for what it was, like that. I guess it was a trilogy. I guess it was an end cap. When you compare some of J.J. Abrams, like what he did with Star Trek, the reboot was just much better. Like the reboot on that franchise was just like those were really good. You know what I mean?
I remember the first one being really good. I remember something about the second one. Were there only 3 altogether?
Yeah, so far only 3, and all 3 of them were received pretty well.
Oh yeah, that last one I didn't like. That last one I made the mistake of seeing in 4D, and that was a ripoff.
With Idris Elba.
Was Idris Elba in that one?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, whatever it was, it was very lackluster film, and especially seeing it in 4D made it pretty bad because they basically mailed it in. You know, they did not have like any 4D stuff in there. Like we literally should have gotten our money back.
Well, you're talking about Star Trek, right? The first one you had the Romulans, the second one you had Khan, and then the third one you had Idris Elba as like this, like
they were on a planet. It was most of it was spent on a planet, right?
Yeah, he was the original member of Starfleet at one point.
I just remember it was on
something else.
Yeah, I just remember it was on a planet, and it wasn't that fun to watch.
I liked it. It wasn't the best of the 3, but it certainly wasn't like the worst movie.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen worse. It was a big disappointment.
But I mean, I thought J.J. Abrams did pretty good with that trilogy. You know, especially because at the beginning there was some backlash, right? Because he pretty much rebooted the entire Star Trek universe. But then the movie was good.
I liked the first one. I wasn't a big fan of the second one, of the Star Trek one. But I think that also, I'm so attached to Ricardo Montalban as Khan.
Yeah, who played Khan?
I agree.
And I'm not a fan of and I'm not a fan of Benedict Cumberbatch. So.
Oh, yeah. See, yeah, you got to be careful with iconic characters. It's like when they replaced. It's like Zod. Zod wasn't replaced well.
Terrence Stamp.
Who else?
That's because Terrence Stamp kind of owned that
Terrence
role.
Stamp.
Yeah.
Terrence Stamp. He still looks good, by the way.
Does he?
Yeah.
He still looks good.
It's like Jack Nicholson owned that role, but they got a great replacement for him.
Well, because it wasn't really. You don't replace Jack Nicholson. You didn't replace.
No,
Jack
you
Nicholson.
don't know. Jack Nicholson doesn't
recast. They just recast it. You know, it was.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. They should have whatever they did with Jack. They should have done with Terrence.
It's not like we did a sequel. You know what I mean?
Wait, Jack Nicholson and Terrence Stamp. What?
No. He's talking Jack Nicholson and who was recast in the Jack Nicholson as Joker and Heath Ledger as Joker.
Oh, Heath Ledger. Yeah.
I still think Jack was the better Joker, but I like Heath Ledger.
I mean, I won't argue. I mean, they're both so good that I won't argue with either.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Person.
I thought they were both. I thought they were both great for what they did.
Well, they played two different Jokers.
I think that the Joker that Jack Nicholson played is probably the one that's more familiar to fans of like the comic books overall. But I think that the one that Heath Ledger played was probably like he did it like a more of a version of like a more intense, like more recent graphic novel, didn't he? I think something like that.
He did. Heath Ledger did Killing Joke Joker.
Right.
And Jack Nicholson did Clown Joker. And the reason why I say that is because
but the one from the comic books that you always know they
just put out a comic this past year, a 3-issue series called The Three Jokers, which explains how there have always been 3 Joker personalities throughout history. One of them, the actual insane murdering Joker, the other, like, and they kind of, each personality just kind of manifests at different times. So Jack Nicholson, again, you're right. Like Heath Ledger, he actually read The Killing Joke for that role, whereas Jack Nicholson was more the comedic. You understand what I'm saying? The clown.
And I remember watching that as a kid, and thinking he was incredibly funny and frightening at the same time.
He had the most quotables. Like his quote. That's why when I compare Heath Ledger to Jack, like I think Jack owned the role, but like Heath Ledger had some quotables. You know why it's so serious, but Jack Nicholson had like a book of quotables from that movie.
Get those wonderful toys.
And then
Dance with the Devil in the Pale Moonlight, like
Superman's nemesis that they didn't get right.
A little song, a little dance, Batman's head on a lance.
Yeah, that was. They shouldn't have tried to do that.
Oh, either. You mean Gene Hackman versus
Gene Hackman is Lex Luthor? Yeah.
Yeah, Gene Hackman was great though. Like when you really look at that old Superman movie, and you're like, man, you had Gene Hackman, you had Terrence Stamp, you had Christopher Reeves. At one point, you had Richard Pryor in there. Like they were just casting those films, man. Like they were
acting like he did not want to be in that movie, but that's another story.
Richard Pryor?
Yeah. I watched that. I remember watching that. He seems a little bit like he doesn't want to be there, but that was just my personal interpretation of like his performance. But
and I think the only reason why they put him in there is because at the time he was just one of the most popular actors in film. He was making a lot of movies at the time, and it's like, let's just gratuitously throw Richard Pryor in there. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
You're right. It does feel like he's out of place in that movie.
Well, yeah, and he seemed to like not really. Yeah, exactly. He just like you could tell, like, you know, some actors are like, you know, they take the roles because it's like they're being offered them and they're being really well paid, but it's just like they look at the script and it's like, oh my god, I have to do this. Like, so
yeah. And it was at the time the biggest Superman movie.
Yeah.
Even though Superman 2 was the best. Superman 2 is the best.
It is the best one. It is the best one. Yeah. Superman 2 is the best one.
Yeah, I don't even really recall Superman 1, but Superman 2?
Yeah.
Kneel before Zod? Like, yo.
Kneel before Zod, yeah.
Kneel before Zod. Like, yo, that was that one. And Superman 4, I don't even know what they were doing. Like, stop. What are you doing?
Yeah, it got all homoerotic with like the you know, Superman, Nuclear Man facing off.
Yeah, they took like a strand of Superman's hair and made a nuclear man. Like, stop it.
Yeah.
You could have stopped at Superman. Superman 3 was enough. Like, you couldn't come up with a good enough villain for Superman 3 that he had to fight himself. That's where you should end it. You know what I mean? He fights himself. You end it there. You know what I mean? Which I didn't even understand that. Like, the one part that's what I hate about Superman 3. Like, he took the S off his chest and threw it at, like, yo, that's just like, what are we doing here? Like,
I don't know.
Who wrote this? Or, you know what? We're going to have this scene where you take the S off your chest, and as you throw it, it's going to get bigger and wrap around your enemy. Like, what? When can Superman do this? Like, start pulling the S off his chest and throwing it at people.
That is so, like, that's really, really fun. Yeah, that's really, really funny.
That's when they should have been like, you know what? We're done. We got Richard Pryor to be in a Superman movie. We're done. No more. They went with Superman 4, which was just. But Superman 2?
Oh yeah.
Terrence Stamp as Zod? Because, you know, it's interesting because the Superman movie that Flavius doesn't like Zod in is actually a great Superman film. It's just the guy they got to play Zod isn't a good Zod.
Which movie was this? Which movie was that?
Man of Steel from the 2000s.
Oh, was Zod even in that? See, it's so funny. I don't even remember him being in that. That's what's
Superman snapped his neck at the end and killed him.
Oh,
which people were
okay.
mad at because Superman snapped his neck, which people were like, Superman wouldn't do that. But
right.
The movie was really good. It was just a good, like, all they did was fight the whole movie. You know what I mean? It was really good. But yeah, he snaps his neck, which is like, yeah, Superman probably wouldn't do that, but he did it. Get over it. Every once in a while, our favorite characters go against their own principles and have to do some extreme things. It happens in comic books. Captain America's killed people. Doesn't mean to, doesn't want to, but sometimes you have to. Batman has killed people. He absolutely would rather not, but he has. You know what I mean? He doesn't run around killing people.
I do.
If he can get away with it, get away without doing it. Most cases, he doesn't kill. He doesn't kill people on a regular, but he's killed some people.
No disagreement from me. Yeah. I mean, I'm not Yeah, I get it. I hear you. I hear you loud and clear. There's no. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't mad Superman broke Zod's neck. Well, only in the sense that, only to the extent that I do also know that, like, in the comics, like, Zod isn't dead. So that was kind of like a, scratch my head moment. But that he killed him wasn't the problem. That Zod is actually dead was kind of bothered me a little bit. Then they used his body to make, like, Plato Doomsday.
Yeah.
The best thing about that Justice League film was Wonder Woman.
Yeah. I mean, I became a big Gal Gadot fan almost immediately.
I just watched a movie with her in it that's on Netflix right now.
Oh, I need to go watch it.
2016 film. It's either the one where I think it's cops in Atlanta robbing a bank or something. Or
I saw that film.
Was Gal Gadot in that one?
You're talking about not 9mm. I know exactly what you're talking about. 999.
Is that the one with Gal Gadot in it?
Yeah, she's in it.
Is that any good?
Yep, it's okay.
Okay, that's what I figured.
It's okay. It's worth if you have nothing to do. It's worth a watch. It's just a decent.
I feel like I may have seen
standard action flick.
I feel like I may have seen it because around 2016 there were a few films like that about like bad cops. Like there's the one with Ethan Hawke, like called Brooklyn's Finest or something. There were a few of those films that came out.
Brooklyn's Finest is a little older in 2016.
That film was actually good.
Yeah, it's got Ethan Hawke and it's got who plays the Black Iron Man. Yeah, it's got Wesley Snipes, but it's got the guy who plays the Black Iron Man in it. It's got Wesley Snipes. It's got Ray Liotta in it. Yeah, it's a little older than 2016, but definitely a great film.
Like maybe 13.
Three different stories about 3 different cops.
Yeah, that might be 13.
Yeah, really good film. Really good film. So I'm gonna get ready to go watch SmackDown before it gets too late for me. It's already 12:28.
SmackDown.
Mandalorian.
Wrestling.
Oh, okay. It was great catching up. It was really great catching up with all of you. It's been too long.
Oh yeah, for sure. It has been too long.
It has been.
That's one of the reasons why
I'm really glad
when I saw you.
What?
That's one of the reasons why when I saw you guys were going on, I was like, let me finish up my masturbating and hurry up and jump on.
I cannot. Please. I'm not even going to address that. Yeah.
I'm like.
Well, good.
So yes.
Good.
So
listen,
so
we're all human. We all have needs.
We're gonna do this again next Friday.
You mean masturbate and then get on? Sure.
I'm already a master of the bait. So
Yeah, there you go. There you go. But in any
So-
event, yeah, no, oh my God, I can't even, I can't even, like, seriously, I
I'm
can't
sorry,
even,
man. I'm sorry.
It's 12:30 in the morning and I can't even, like, thanks. Now I can't form complete thoughts. All right. No, don't be sorry. This is hilarious. There's a lot of things that I would want to say in response to what you just said, but I'm refraining myself. So I will see you. I'll be back next Friday.
Yep.
If not
Me
sooner.
too.
If you guys want to do something in the middle of the week, let me know. I can't
Okay.
stay up as late during the week, but yeah, this is awesome. Enjoy SmackDown, enjoy Mandalorian. I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah, it was fun,
And
Sam. It was really good. It's been a while, so it was really good chatting with you again. And
yeah,
I
it was
might
really
be
good
up for
chatting with you
something
too. And
during the week too. So
I am looking forward to concentrating on getting more movie lists released soon.
yes, please. I enjoyed the one that you posted. So please.
Thank you. I
Please.
really appreciate that.
I might have to
doing
start
it.
messaging you and encourage you, like movie list.
Please do.
Movie list.
No,
Like,
I'm serious. Please do, because honestly, I get so easily distracted, and it takes more effort for me to do this than it used to. I think just because I'm struggling with depression. So please, but I'm working on it, and I'm trying to get back into the swing of expressing myself creatively that way, because it's really good for me. So please feel free to nudge me and get me. Yeah.
Listen, for Comic Sense, it's December, so I have to do a top 10 for 2020 comics.
I see some of that on your Facebook pages. Yeah. On your posts. Yeah, I see that. When you're not dealing with like fake roaches. But yeah.
Sorry, phone ring and took my volume away. Why don't you do a top 10 list of 2020?
Good idea.
Because it's about to be 2021. Hit us with a top 10 list. But I'm gonna send you messages. I'm gonna go because my phone just rang and it's probably gonna ring again, and I won't be able to say bye.
You guys heard that Tiny Lister died, right?
Yes, very sad.
Yep.
Good night, guys.
All right. Good night.